What's up? What's up? Welcome to the market recap. Today is September 23rd, 2025. Probably a rather quick video today. One potential trade last night, which was this Kiwi CAD, and I did not take it. I probably should have, looking back. I mean, it was really the only opportunity there was last night. There was these other kind of ACB plays, which I'll get into here in a minute. But this was the only like real main trade. I wouldn't consider it like an A grade setup, like more so kind of a B, if not a C type setup. Just due to the break was pretty poor. The pullback kind of broke the level I had drawn in here, and it was a deeper kind of almost a 0.618 fib level. But if you kind of zoom out a little bit on your 2-minute, there is this, drawing a line right here, there was this kind of support as well. On your 10-minute, you can see it, and price comes down, bounced off of it, and had a relatively nice trend following all the way down. So taking on a break of that trend, this trade likely would have played out for 1 hour or so. I mean, right it to the top up here, and I'm going to think it's roughly going to be pulled out someplace down here. But if we would have looked at, yeah, I mean, on this kind of push upwards, you'd be sitting at 1, 2, 1, 3. At that point, you'd lock 1 and then probably be tapped out for 1-to-1 on that breakdown right there. So potential 1-hour trade that I should have captured last night. I was watching this kind of pull back, and I really wasn't liking the fact that essentially my stop isn't protected by anything. It's protected by 0.618 fib, and that's it. It's not really protected by the EMAs like I typically would like. So I don't know. It wasn't kind of a picture perfect setup, so I decided to sit out of it. I think this is an area where I probably need to improve when it comes to trading. Like, I don't have an issue taking what I consider to be an A quality setup, but I do have hesitation in placing trades when it comes to taking things that aren't A class setups, so Bs or Cs. When there's still the edge there, there's still the price action there to support it. But it's just when like the EMAs and stuff don't line up exactly perfectly, I hesitate. And this is an example of that. From a price action perspective, I should have taken this trade, I think. From an indicator perspective, it just doesn't make it as high as tier as I would like. But indicators are just indicators at the end of the day. Price action is king. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted on this one. Given the fact it was really the only setup last night, I probably should have taken it. And I likely would have taken it if I was awake. In all honesty, I kind of laid down around 11 o'clock my time last night. I was just hanging out and fell asleep when it was roughly in this kind of area pulling back. And I wasn't even awake for when it broke this trend to even see what it looked like to potentially take the trade. But I'd kind of already in my mind written off taking the trade as to begin with because I didn't like the fact it didn't line up with the EMAs and everything else. And I'm more inclined just to sit on my hands until I kind of get picture perfect price action to take a trade, which is leading me to undertrade a little bit. So I know I need to increase my volume of trades to kind of hit the targets that I'm after. And I think this is an example of a trade that I probably should take in the future to increase my overall volume. Yeah. As far as the watch list for tonight, I've already done my scan and whatnot. There's really not anything that I can find from the standard type of strategies that I trade. There's still this stuff I had flagged yesterday that I've cleaned up a little bit and have it flagged again today. But But if we switch over to my swing trading layout, so targeting 4-hour runs is really where you can kind of see these setups. The primary kind of for me is this pound dollar. It's a CBO on a 4-hour time frame. It's likely going to be an ACB on my 1-hour time frame. So we go down to my normal day trading layout. It looks kind of, meh here, but it's essentially lining up to be an ACB. It just needs a little bit more of a pullback. Same thing kind of here with pound CAD. The levels just don't line up as nicely as they do with pound dollar. Like pound dollar, the levels are a little nicer. Granted, you kind of have this bounce off of the daily 50, but the 4-hour is still pretty nice, as well as the 1-hour is pretty nice. So I think you can kind of just trade through that. So pound CAD's similar. It already has a deeper kind of pullback here. This entry would be coming up now, but it's also broken the 4-hour 50, 1-hour 200, whereas pound dollar hasn't. So just like the levels more with pound dollar. Dollar CAD, like looking at this as like a 4-hour IBO. Granted, again, like the EMAs don't line up perfectly, as well as it is still trending downwards, which is kind of a negative to it. But your daily time frame is interesting. Weekly kind of as well, right? You're sitting at this, been respected over here. It's been respected here in the past. So interesting level. I'm anticipating at some point the price to break out and give like, a 4-hour CBO and daily IBO from a swing trading perspective. So I think this is a potential tonight. Same thing with dollar Swiss. Again, we had this on watch yesterday. Another potential kind of IBO play, but an entry for this would be coming up roughly about now. Dollar Singapore, another kind of CBOS style 4-hour play. Just not as nice as price action. Dollar yen, same thing as dollar Singapore, but just not. I mean, I don't like the kind of sideways price action we have right here, but you do have a breakup and a higher high and a retest on your 4-hour. And the same thing with both of these. So they're interesting, something I'm just going to watch. And then dollar NOK. It would be like a 4-hour IBO. And you might be able to consider this a 1-hour CBO, but it's already kind of broken past the 1-hour 50 and 200. So I don't know. But the 4-hour time frame looks like just a normal IBO, which your daily time frame wouldn't really be anything yet. This 4-hour needs to be a CBO for my daily to be an IBO. So it looks okay. But then like my weekly time frame, this looks like a CBO and it's had a follow through at this point. So it could just continue down, or we, on a weekly aspect, we could have a push up. So they're interesting. If I kind of had to label these in like order of what I'm thinking about most, probably this dollar Swiss, dollar NOK are the two more interesting pairs in this for me. So keep an eye on those two. And then as far as development watch, still watching all these Kiwis. If we flip, I mean, you can kind of see it here on the swing trading layout, like Kiwi dollar is lining up to be a pretty nice 4-hour CBO at some point. Not really the rest, but we switch back to our daily. Waiting on a breakout on this 1-hour. Turn off replay here. Yeah, waiting on a breakout on this 1-hour. Same thing, waiting on a breakdown on this 1-hour. On all of these Kiwi pairs, just waiting for them to break out or break down. They're all lining up pretty nice. Like these will be some pretty solid day trades coming up. Hopefully we get a breakout some point today. Maybe some setups midday, or maybe some setups come tomorrow, preferably. And then watching pound Swiss for a breakout upwards at some point. Euro yen for a breakdown. Potential IBO coming up. Euro pound for a breakdown. A potential IBO coming up. Same thing with Euro Aussie. And then I guess I might be able to deflag this. I had this flagged as development yesterday when price was kind of sitting here and I was waiting for a pop upwards, but it looks like we got a breakdown down. It's not too interested in that anymore. So really primarily looking at some euros and some Kiwis for some breakdowns coming up. And when these break down, like there'll be a lot of options, a lot of plentiful trades. So, but I likely will entertain this pound dollar tonight. Looking for a little bit deeper of a pullback. I have that fib level drawn there, but on the 4-hour time frame, I drew it from that high. So looking more so for price to kind of retest this push up to the daily R1, 1 hour 200, 4 hour 50 area, and then potentially taking the trade short from there. So a typical ACB is position sized for a 2-to-1 to the lows. My only qualms with that is that with a 2-to-1 kind of position size, I'm not really protected very well from these highs over here that have been respected. You can see them on the 4-hour time frame, right? Like respected here, respected here, respected here. So it's a pretty strong like resistance level. So preferably I'd like to put a stop behind it. So we swap over the 4-hour time frame. That's what I've been able to do. But I'm not able to position size it as a 2-to-1. So not quite the normal position sizing as an ACB for a 1 hour, but a little bit tighter. So I'm like 1.5 R to the lows or 1.25 R to the lows, and then 2.5 R to S1, so the main target. It's how I currently have this position sized. And it's likely how I'd take this trade. So this is more so going to be a swing trade with a little bit tighter of a position than a 1 hour ACB, more so a 4-hour CBO. Yeah, that's all I got. Kind of a quiet past 2 days, but there's opportunities. Just got to dig, and then hopefully we'll get some breakouts and all the stuff we're waiting on developments, and have some more opportunities later in this week. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.